Welcome to episode 16 of the Two Average Guys Sport Podcast. Just a couple average dudes talking about sports. No former playing experience, no former management experience, literally two average dudes. My name is Sam. This is my co-host here, Espen, how are we doing today?
Doing pretty good, Sam. Yesterday was probably one of the busiest sports days I can remember in recent history. I mean, wouldn't you have to agree with that? I mean, it was just, I was watching sports from noon till midnight, basically.
Yeah, I mean, for obviously the Central Coast people and the West Coast people, like you have sports on all day. And so even Eastern time, I think I was watching sports from like 1 p.m. to 11:30, and it was great. I mean,
yeah, it was awesome.
Absolutely great. We have a lot of good stuff for you guys today: NBA news, MLB, college football, NFL, other sport news, and a new top five featuring a little spookiness of the Halloween season. Should we go ahead and get started?
Let's start rolling.
Yeah, so NBA news obviously first. The bubble has been bursted. Lakers are winning. Lakers won, actually, their 17th title, ties the Boston Celtics for the most all time. Gonna be honest, it was expected. I mean, from the day one of the NBA season, it just felt like the Lakers had everything they needed.
Yeah, they weren't the most talented team if you go down the entire roster, but it felt like they were the most put together team in a sense. They put it together. LeBron needed that help in LA, so he brings in Anthony Davis. This is his first season, right? Yeah, this is his first season with the Lakers. Yeah, so he brings in Anthony Davis, and Anthony Davis in his first finals appearance, first championship. I mean, everything came together at the right time, and I think Kobe was looking down, and I think he helped that ball go in the bucket a few times too.
Yeah, for sure. And just, to kind of talk about it, this was Anthony Davis's first time past the first round of the finals. I think the first round of the playoffs. He went to the playoffs once with New Orleans. I think they got swept by the Warriors. And so this was his first time, and it didn't seem to faze him. He seemed ready, to go. I think was he on the Kentucky team that went undefeated?
No, he was on the Kentucky team that was like 38-1 and beat my Kansas Jayhawks in the national championship, and he was just an absolute beast in college. So he's got a championship in college and now an NBA championship.
Something LeBron can't say, just saying. But speaking about LeBron, he did win Finals MVP after almost averaging a triple-double. I think he had enough points and rebounds, and he's like 8.2 assists. Definitely crazy. It's now his third different team he's won a title with, fourth altogether. Is he the GOAT? I mean, it's definitely I personally don't think so. I'm an MJ fan, but we have to open up the discussion.
Yeah, I'm so back and forth on it. I've kind of settled at the point that they're 1A, 1B. If LeBron gets to 6 titles, he passes Michael Jordan, because he's gonna, when his career's done with, I think he's gonna hold every scoring title there is. And I mean, yeah, MJ went 6-0 in the finals, which is unheard of in today's age. Like I don't know if that will ever be done again. But like I said, I'm so back and forth. I can't decide. Like for me right now, they're 1A, 1B.
Yeah, I think of it, I'd say like you can't have only one GOAT because of the different eras of basketball. Michael Jordan or LeBron might not have been able to fit in the 70s, and Jerry West cannot fit in probably the 2000s. So it's just, you have different eras of basketball and different eras of greatness. And I think, if you don't want to consider LeBron the GOAT, he's definitely the GOAT of the 2010s, and even 2000s almost, you could say as well. I know we had obviously several different players, Tim Duncan, yeah. Kobe, but I think you could argue LeBron is probably the best of that generation.
Yeah.
Yeah, and speaking about LeBron, rip to Bronny. If we hear about him in the news tomorrow, it's probably because he's dead. LeBron probably gave him an ass kicking of a lifetime.
I think LeBron he's probably so excited to be out of that damn bubble, he's gonna just start smoking with them. That's my theory.
Well, speaking about the craziness, the Lakers were for sure partying their ass off, to say the least. J.R. Smith, you texted me, go look at his live stream. Cigar in one hand, a bottle of champagne in the other, the phone being held by something. He's partying up. He's shirtless. Over under 1 week of JR being shirtless.
Oh, you smashed that over in a heartbeat. He didn't log a single minute in the finals, and he was the first person to touch the trophy. What a move!
If that
I
doesn't
mean, that's only
describe
something.
him, then I don't know what will.
I mean, the whole Lakers team just looked. I mean, the press conferences were hilarious. They were all smoking cigars and get
Yeah, Dwight
absolutely
Howard was
drunk.
like in an argument with his girlfriend on live stream. But
Kyle
also,
Kuzma, Kyle Kuzma, Kyle Kuzma in his press conference was like, I don't even know what to respond with. I'm already half drunk.
I mean, all of
So
partying. Quinn Cook, he got forgotten at the arena. He didn't even get on the team bus. And he's texting J.R. Smith through the live stream. He's like, hey, I guess I'm walking home. I mean,
yeah,
absolutely hilarious.
it was wild. It was crazy to see. I have a question for you. Do you think Anthony Davis deserved MVP for the finals? Or do you think LeBron
I
passed
think
him?
you could argue it, but I think they just put LeBron at the Finals MVP just because of his stats. Um,
Yeah,
I mean,
it's hard to.
I think a few years ago when the Cavs won it, it was like LeBron was Finals MVP, but like Kyrie played his ass off. Kyrie hit the game-winning shot, and so it's like you could always argue that as well. Also, we talked about the crazy celebrations and all the fun. In a serious moment, you saw the Lakers kind of take a moment to honor Kobe and Gigi in a sense, with winning the finals, being the first Lakers team that's done it since the Kobe era. It was kind of not heartbreaking to see, but like it fits, like the glove fits.
Yeah, yeah. It was a good storybook ending to what's been a tumultuous like year.
Mm-hmm.
This is the longest NBA season ever. I actually saw the Lakers' first preseason game was like basically I think October 5th of last year. So we've had a
That's
whole year
crazy.
of NBA basketball. So yeah, it's definitely cool to see that the Lakers wanted this year for Kobe. I was kind of cheering once the Bucks flew out. I was cheering for the Lakers to win it. So
Yeah, absolutely. And as we kind of wrap up the bubble, I think we both can agree on this. It was probably the most successful thing that could have been done, considering the NBA was kind of the first one to make a move.
I have to agree, and all the issues that they brought towards racial justice and Black Lives Matter too. That was an important movement that really gained a lot of
Mm-hmm.
attention in the bubble, which I think was super cool to see and super important to have all their voices heard. So that was cool. And then dealing with the pandemic too, just unprecedented circumstances. It was as successful as we could have imagined. They didn't have a single positive test within the bubble. Just one man visiting a strip club in Atlanta for some chicken wings. That's about it. So I
Yeah,
mean that's
I also want to touch on the racial injustices. The NBA, who's one of the most powerful organizations in sports, didn't set it aside for the finals. You saw in the finals court, Black Lives Matter. All the players still had the names on their backs, or the ones that wanted to partake in it. The national anthem, taking a knee. So very, very powerful by both the players, by the NBA. Really tremendous job, I would say, kind of coming together and, working that out.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
And then, to wrap up the NBA, it's supposedly going to start again in January. Unsure, but I don't think anyone is sure. Who is the early title favorites for 2021? I'm going to list off name of teams. If you don't think any of those teams are, you can say other. We have the Warriors, who are most likely getting, obviously, Steph, Clay, Draymond back. The Lakers, obviously, could repeat. The Celtics, the 76ers with the new coach, Doc Rivers. The Bucks, obviously played well all season, kind of struggled down the stretch. The Heat, the surprising team, and then obviously the one I didn't list, the Clippers. Any of those teams, or you think someone else?
I think next season could be about as wide open as we've seen. You even left some teams off that list that I think could the Nuggets, the Jazz, the
Mm-hmm.
Trailblazers. Call me crazy, the Phoenix Suns with how good they were in the bubble. Maybe they put it together and they get some pieces. You never know. If I had to gun to my head, if I had to pick maybe a finals, I mean it's so early, but I would probably go. I'm gonna go Warriors, 76ers.
I was going to say, I think the 76ers are going to be the first team to make it next year. Or they're not
Yeah,
the first team, but, the first 76er team in a while to make it, either them or the Bucks. But I think Warriors are going to – I don't know who they're going to select in the draft, but if they get a good player, I think they'll probably go for someone more on the defensive side. I think that they can definitely shoot up there.
Yeah. I actually saw it. I did a little bit of research at an interesting stat. Every NBA final since I believe 2005 has either featured one of these four teams: the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Golden State Warriors, the Miami Heat, or the Lakers. One of those four teams has been in the NBA finals for the last 15
Wait,
years.
say that again?
So the
Miami Heat,
Warriors
the Cavaliers, the Lakers, or
and
the
the
Warriors?
Warriors. Yeah.
That is crazy. That
So
is
I mean,
absolutely nuts.
and there's probably a good chance next year we'll get at least the Warriors or Lakers because the Cavs won't have a shot, and the Heat. I don't think the Heat will go back. I mean, they're a good team, but I just don't think they can put together another great season like they did this year.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely have to think that's a crazy stat. Going from one bubble that just kind of obviously wrapped up to another bubble that is already formed in a sense. The MLB playoffs. First and foremost, up to my New York Yankees. Obviously, losing Tampa Bay. Advances to the ALCS, so we're up to them. We're up to the season. New York, not a good sports weekend for you. Now, the Rays took game one against the Astros, winning it 2-1. More of a pitching game. But yeah, I mean, let's go Rays. If I can't, anyone but the Astros.
Yeah.
Anyone but the Astros and Dodgers.
Yeah, I think Rays Braves is probably the series everybody's looking for. I'm not the biggest Dodgers fan, but if it's like Dodgers Astros, of course I'm gonna be cheering for the Dodgers. Man, I don't know what it is, but these playoffs are just. I thought they were gonna be so much more exciting than they have been. Just not a lot of exciting plays, really. Not a lot of exciting matchups. The wild card round was fun with those 3-game series, but even then, I mean, the entire Central Division's got absolutely steamrolled by everybody else. So baseball's just, I think it's just people are not as interested in baseball anymore, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, there is definitely a lot of problems with the viewership, and I think that starts with Rob Manfred. I know they obviously have a very good, I don't want to say, they obviously have a good contract, right? Everything is in place. It's just that the execution needs to be better. The execution of the game, the engagement between the players and the fans. And I think MLB is limiting that, not necessarily this season, but just in general. Obviously, a season COVID, but and even regular seasons, it's just not as fun anymore. And I don't want to say I don't know why, but it's not fun. Like, unless if you go to a baseball game, it's not fun to watch on TV.
Yeah, and something I've said too in the past is I think baseball does an absolutely horrible job of marketing their players and marketing their superstars. You used to see like Derek Jeter. I mean, he did so many, like A-Rod, Derek Jeter. I mean, oh God, who? I mean, you could even throw back to the '90s, like Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire, like the superstars of the game. Yeah, they were on roids, but like they didn't really have a marketing issue back then. I mean, they were able to market.
They were on roids.
I mean, they were. I mean, let's not go away from the facts that they were. But
like I just want to touch up on that. Like, you're not wrong. You were literally 100% right. Mike Trout. Okay, I know he's in Anaheim, but he is LA. Like, you need to see matchups between him and Mookie Betts going up 1-on-1. Like, not necessarily best player they can, but reaching out to the market. We need one of those home run contests between Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton for like charity or something. Like, get something to kind of just engage viewers.
Yeah, I was watching TV yesterday and I saw a commercial for Aaron Judge. I think it was with Jersey Mike's, and I was like, "That's the first commercial I've ever seen Aaron Judge in." I think I'm like, and he's I mean, he's probably arguably the face of New York for baseball right now. Wouldn't you say so?
Yeah, I mean, he is definitely. You look at, I mean, not even New York. You look at baseball, and you look at Aaron Judge, and you know he's obviously not been as great as he has been in the last few seasons. He's definitely obviously still better than average, but he's not great. He can be a marketable player. He's a nice guy. He does the right things, and he hits home runs. He makes baseball fun, and baseball doesn't want to seem to accept that their players like to have fun.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. Yeah. And then another point I want to make is it doesn't feel the same with these playoffs because they're in warm weather cities and they're in domes. So for me, playoff baseball, it's about that like crisp fall air. You know, it's like 45 degrees at night. You know, for a night game. It just feels weird. That's just kind of.
I will tell you this: I love the city of Cleveland for baseball season, for playoff season. The city of Cleveland is a rockin' city in terms of playoffs in baseball. Like, I don't, obviously 2016, the Cubs played the, Indians, and like, everyone wanted the Cubs to win. It was 100 years, but it's electric there. And then you go to cities like, Texas, Texas, that's a dumb state, obviously. You go to like Dallas, you go to San Diego, and it just doesn't seem as electric. And like last year with the Astros, all you heard was trash cans banging. Like, you didn't even hear fans. So it's just,
even last year in Washington, I mean, that place was going nuts when the Nationals had postseason games there, and just, I mean, of course the fans. I mean, I think once fans get back to it, it'll be a little bit more entertaining. But
I just want to end up on the marketability. We look at what MLB is trying to do, or what teams are trying to do. Tampa, the Rays, obviously, they're trying to play. They wanted to play half their games in Tampa and then half in like Montreal. They want to do a game in the middle of a cornfield, which obviously I think is a great idea. But if you're not a baseball fan, trust me, you don't care. Like, you just straight up don't. It's these weird ideas. They try to play games in Cuba and try to get, people of Hispanic cultures into the game. And it's just like, that's great, but how is this actually benefiting them like one time? MLB does a terrible job.
Yeah, I have to agree with you.
Not pleased. Going from MLB to college football, I'm going to let you touch up on this. Go ahead and take it.
Yeah, another exciting week of college football. So the SEC, of course, had a bunch of cool and good matchups. Decided to stop playing defense. I personally think, I mean, it might be the new Big 12 because the only team that's really looked solid with defense has been Georgia. Florida gave up 41 to Texas A&M. Alabama got into an absolute – I didn't even expect – I mean, they did pull away, but for most of that game against Ole Miss, it was tight. I mean, Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss, they ended up winning 63-48. So
did you hear what happened with that? Bama was like, they know our plays. And it's just like, dude, it's Lane Kiffin.
Of course Nick Saban would say that. I mean, Nick Saban, just shut up. Just shut up, Nick Saban. I can't stand Alabama. And I mean, going from speaking, like I said, the Big 12, crazy. How about the Red River rivalry, Oklahoma, Texas?
Yeah, I mean, not pleasant. 4 overtimes. Texas came back with like a couple seconds left, and then Oklahoma pulled away in the 4th overtime.
I also want to complain to Fox. I was watching that game. They pulled the game off air because they want to show Kansas State and TCU, so I could not watch that game.
Did they actually? Oh, I watched it.
How? I mean, why? It's probably because I'm like in Kansas and Kansas State's like a couple hours down the road. That's probably why they did it. But yeah, I don't care about that matchup. That was an exciting game between Oklahoma and Texas. It was stupid. Texas is not back. Oklahoma's not back.
Yeah, I mean, both teams are out of the top 25.
When's the last time that happened? Forever.
It's crazy. But also another state of Texas, other college football news. Houston, shout out to them for finally playing the game after like 5 cancellations.
Yeah, they finally got a game under their belt, and did they win? I'm not sure.
They won against Tulane, but they had like 5 turnovers. They got like
it's
questionable. And then also, as you touched up on it, Texas A&M was the upset over Florida. That being said, Dan Mullen, who is the Florida coach, he wants to put in a request to have full capacity at Florida home games, which is 88,000, because he blames that the A&M crowd was the reason they lost. Really?
Shocking that it comes from an SEC coach. Said he wants a full capacity crowd in the middle of a pandemic. I mean,
they think masks are stupid.
Are we really surprised? I have no problem with this limited capacity. I mean, of course, I wanted to get back to full capacity, but of course, we can't really do that until there's a vaccine and stuff gets back to normal. But dude, you got to adapt to the situation you're in. I mean, maybe you just lost a game because your team's not as good as Texas A&M, and they just play better than you.
Like, it's not easy to go to another place and like, let alone travel, all that. It's not.
And Texas A&M was coming off a loss against Alabama. They were probably pissed off. I mean, they're not a bad team. So I mean, just absurd statement by an absurd coach.
Yeah, definitely not a pleasing statement. Go ahead.
Yeah, for our next college football news, Clemson, they played number 7 Miami over the weekend, absolutely dominating them. I believe the score was like 42-17. Yep. They look like the best team in college football, and it's not close. Wouldn't you have to agree with that?
Yeah, I definitely have to agree with you. Obviously, You could really argue Trevor Lawrence would probably have 3 national champions like chips if it wasn't for Joe Burrow going to LSU. That being said, do you think that Joe Burrow at this point is the number 1 pick no matter what? Whatever happens, they go and lose 5 games, but he's consistent, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. Do you think he's the number 1 pick?
You mean Trevor Lawrence?
Trevor Lawrence? Did I say Joe Burrow? Oh, I said Joe Burrow. Trevor Lawrence.
Joe Burrow, I would bet money Joe Burrow's the number 1 pick. So, I'll say
I guarantee you Joe Burrow's the number 1 pick, man.
But yeah, Trevor Lawrence, there's a real battle in the NFL for Trevor Lawrence right now, and I think it's becoming we'll get into that with NFL talk, but yeah, Trevor Lawrence it's like Joe Burrow last year. He's locked in for the number 1 pick no matter what happens. The dude could tear his ACL. I don't want that to happen. I love him as a quarterback. I like him as a dude. He just seems like a super laid back. You want to drink a couple like Miller Lights with him or something, and he just looks like that cool quarterback that everybody wants to be and everybody wants to hang out with. So.
Yeah, and top 5, the new top 5, really no significant changes. Clemson number 1, Bama number 2. Georgia number 3, number 4 Notre Dame, who finally were able to play Florida State. Actually, that was a close one, but Notre Dame did pull away. And then number 5 North Carolina. That's kind of a little bit of a surprise.
That's the big surprise. I saw them jump all the way up there. They beat Virginia Tech in a no defense game. I kind of like these college football games with no defense. It's kind of fun. I like it in the NFL when there's defense. College football, run up the points. Mac Brown has turned North Carolina around. Is North Carolina legit this year, do you think?
I don't think they're legit this year, and I only say that because, the ACC is not as dominant as it used to be. Now, when North Carolina plays a team like Clemson, then I think we'll kind of understand. I don't know if they're scheduled to play Notre Dame, but if they are, one of those games to watch out for to kind of see Notre Dame's and North Carolina's, for a matter of fact, both of them, and see how legit they are.
Yeah, and also too, there's 2 big conferences that aren't playing, the Big Ten and Pac-12. So I think that's another reason they've jumped so far up. Like in a normal season, I bet they're probably like between 10 and 12 right now. They're still a great team, but and then some other surprise teams that in the rankings that have moved up a little bit. Oklahoma State, I kind of predicted them. In the playoff, they're number 7. Cincinnati from the American up to number 8. If they run the table and there's wild, crazy stuff.
They could take a chance. They could be the UCF.
Never know. And then SMU at 17, and then University of Louisiana at 21. So a couple of mid-major schools getting some love there. So always fun to see them up there.
Yeah, and then, going from Saturdays to Sundays, just crazy, man. Crazy for both of us, for both of our teams.
Yeah.
Crazy for the NFL in general. Starting it off with the storyline of the schedule changes. Just the Broncos were supposed to play the Patriots today, and then that got moved to Sunday, but the Broncos were supposed to play the Dolphins. Well, Dolphins and Broncos got moved to week 11, and then the Broncos were supposed to play the Chargers, and so the Chargers get moved to it's dominoes. It really is dominoes. I could read you the full changes. It's 9 games all because of one. Another Patriot player testing positive, I think, on Saturday.
Yeah, it's insane. I've seen 2. They are thinking about week 18 is not off the table. I think that they're going to have to do it just because you're going to get these 1-2 tests. And
that's my thing. It's why don't you just create a week 18 and okay, if a team can't play now, they play week 18. And if it's at 15 games, it's at 15 games. Just screw it.
But the thing is, the NFL is probably it's not like the NBA or MLB where you can go off win percentage. The NFL, you play so few games for the season.
I know.
And it comes down to playoff seeding, and if say there's a 8-7 team, and then there's a 9-7 team who's the last team in the playoffs, they want to play and get in the playoffs. So I understand that point, but I think it's going to come down to a week 18. I think we may even have a week 19 if they can't get
the truth be told, with the week 18, for the Super Bowl, you have 2 weeks to prepare. We don't really need those 2 weeks. Just eliminate the Pro Bowl this year. You're not going to have fans there. No one's going to watch the game.
No one watches the game to begin with. So what?
Yeah. What? You're not wrong. No one cares.
It's the Pro Bowl's the stupidest thing ever. So that's another topic. But we can go ahead and dive into our Week 5 recap.
Yeah, so first game, obviously, Foles can throw up the peace sign against Tom Brady, 2-0. Obviously, that was last Thursday night. Bears beat the Patriots. Or excuse, not. Oh my goodness, Tom Brady's no longer a Patriot. The Bears beat the Bucks, man. The Bears beat the Bucks. I just said Tom Brady and the Patriots. Imagine that. That'll never be real. Bears beat the Bucks. Bears 4-1 now. One of those teams, man.
They beat a good team. The Bucks are a good team. I think the Bears are going to be a playoff team this year. That defense looks really, really solid.
Yeah. That's the thing. The defense has always carried them. It's always been their offense.
Yeah, but Nick Foles he put it together in the Bears didn't even play their best game. That's kind of scary. They didn't play that great, and they still beat the Bucks. It came down to old man Tom forgetting what down it was.
Yeah, it's 4 down. No, it's not 4.
And then Bruce Arians said
it's like Tom Brady knew his 4th down. I was like, oh.
Yeah. Oh, a little kind of.
Oh, Tom Brady having a little bit of Alzheimer's.
If you're a Bucks fan, I don't think you need to be worried at all. It was actually a fun game to watch. So
and with how bad the NFC South is, it's nothing really worry about.
You're fine. And then going into the NFC South, we had a divisional matchup between Carolina and Atlanta. Shout out to your friend who's a Falcons fan who commented on our Twitter. He's like, we've been praising Dan Quinn, who wanting to get fired forever. I especially wanted Dan Quinn to get out of Atlanta because he's just not the right coach.
Yeah, he was. It's just not anymore.
Atlanta would be a playoff team this year. They're 0-5. They fired Dan Quinn. They fired their GM. We were playing that game last week of which coach we fired first. We were both wrong. We both said Adam Gase. So
yeah. And then obviously the next one, Arizona stops in the JETS. Suck. Jets just are terrible. I do want to take a pause right here. Trevor Lawrence is from Georgia, going to Clemson. Could he go back home to Georgia and play for the Falcons? I mean, it just looks like both teams are terrible.
Yeah, you got to think, too, that the Giants are competing for him, too, because Daniel Jones ain't it.
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk about him later, but I think the Giants can at least win probably 2 games this season. They're a really well-coached team. Another really good defense, but I mean, the Jets and the Falcons just both suck. They are both terrible. Who do you think gets Lawrence?
You got to think it's a 3-team battle right now between the Jets, Giants, and the Falcons. And we're like writing off Matt. I think Matt Ryan gets traded. That's where I think what happens. Mm-hmm. I think he gets resurgence somewhere else. God, who could? Let's play a little game.
I think the Vikings. I think they'll release Kirk Cousins.
I was gonna say, but I was gonna do a little domino effect because you said maybe Aaron Rodgers at the beginning of the season could go to New England. Obviously, that's not gonna happen because they got Cam Newton. So I think he'll stay in Green Bay. I could see Matt Ryan going to Minnesota. That would be fun. They got their offense ain't bad. You know, they got some weapons. Adam Thielen.
Or I know you're not gonna want to hear this, but the Washington football team. They seem not to believe in Haskins, and they said he had a flu illness this week. I don't know what the case is on that, but I think the Haskins era is, I don't want to say over, but he doesn't look great.
Or do the Jets get Matt Ryan and just make their fan base miserable again by not getting a new quarterback?
It's possible.
Yeah.
It's definitely possible.
Yeah, I don't know if he's under contract this year or if he's going to become a free agent, but, we'll have to see how it plays out. Arizona, they had no problems with them. And then going into our next game, Kansas City against Vegas. I was heated after the game yesterday. I've had 24 hours to kind of cool and reflect a little bit. Chiefs defense looked absolutely terrible. The O-line looked terrible. They can't rely on Mahomes to make these crazy, crazy passes, and it finally caught up with him. Even he said, we just got to get back to our basics, get back to the playbook. Vegas, Derek Carr looked like an MVP candidate with how bad our defense was. He threw it downfield. He had 5 or 6 deep shots completed to his receivers.
I will say this.
Yeah, go ahead.
This was the worst Kansas City game I've ever seen by them, and they still were in it. They were in it by 8 points until the very end.
I mean, when we had Bob Sutton a couple of years ago as our defensive coordinator, when we lost 54-51 on Monday Night Football, when we couldn't stop teams. it reminded me of that a little bit. Just just a fluke, just not a great team effort. You have those games. I'm not too concerned, but we move on and we play Buffalo next week. So
Yeah, I mean, hopefully. I would like to say they'll play Buffalo. It's been moved from Thursday to Sunday to Monday.
Monday at 4:00 my time, so a 4:00 day game.
No, 3:30. It's 4:30 CT or 4:30 Eastern time.
That's insane.
Why would you place the game at 3:30 Central time?
And it's not like it's conflicting with ESPN and Monday Night Football. The game's on Fox. Why can't you have two?
This is terrible.
Fire up Red Zone for a little Monday night special. We get two games on at once. Like, how hard is it?
This is absolutely terrible by the NFL. Like, come on, man.
We'll get into Tuesday Night Football a little bit later too. But yeah, you can go ahead and take the next game.
Literally, you go 3:30 to 6:30. You get a little bit of a break. All right, I can eat a little dinner, and then you get more playoff, or not more playoff football. Then you get the Cowboy game against the Cardinals at like 8:15 or something.
That's insane.
I know. Both of our teams are playing next Monday. Who would have thought? Next game, Steelers do beat the Eagles in Battle of Pennsylvania. Shout out to Travis Holcomb, ODU product. 10 catches, 152 yards for the Eagles. It's nice to kind of see someone make a name out of themselves from ODU.
Yeah, I mean he looks like he's one of the Eagles' top threats now. I mean they always have injuries for receivers, it seems like. So hey, shout out to him.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you rip to the next one.
Oh boy. So the Rams beat Washington, no surprise there, but Alex Smith gets some playing time and is welcomed back by 6 sacks by his absolute shit offensive line. I mean, if you're
literally.
I mean, do you want this guy to get killed? I mean,
like, do you want his leg to get amputated? Like, it already almost happened once.
Yeah, Washington looks like awful, but they're only a game out of the division lead, so they could still win the division at 2-14.
Literally, it is absolutely terrible. Next one, this was a really dumb pick by me, a really stupid pick. Ravens destroy the Bengals. I don't know what I was thinking. I really couldn't tell you. Just terrible.
If it wasn't for this game, you would be up 6 games on me.
Yeah, I'm up 5. We'll get back to that though.
Yeah, I picked the Ravens. I mean, Cincinnati's still figuring it out, and Baltimore looks good. That's about it.
Yeah, nothing to it. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
You got the next one.
Next game. Texans get their first win of the year. They beat Jacksonville. Deshaun Watson. We kind of both saw this coming. New coach with Romeo Crennel. They were tired of Bill O'Brien. They looked good. Jacksonville's. I mean, not going to give them too much credit because Jacksonville's not a great team, but Houston gets their first win. They're not going to be a playoff team. They're not going to contend for a playoff spot. But good to see Deshaun Watson getting a win this year.
Yeah, for sure. Next one, what a great pick by me. This makes up for the Ravens, Bengals. Dolphins killed the 49ers. I mean, absolutely obliterated. Like, if the 49ers were still in the gold mines, the Dolphins were just burying them alive. Jimmy G gets benched. CJ Beathard comes in, or whatever it is, Beathard. He comes in. CJ Beathard comes in, doesn't really do much, just kind of keeps them around, not even in the game, just down by 30.
This was the surprise result of the day. Fitzpatrick just won't go away.
Yeah, Fitzpatrick is just there. He's not good. He's really not. He's just there.
Yeah, Dolphins, they get to 2-3, so good for them. And 49ers get to 2-3. And I mean, do the defending NFC champs make the playoffs this year with all the injuries?
I think it's definitely questionable right about now.
Yeah, especially with the NFC West with us. Yeah, I mean, they're last in the division with
Seattle and the Rams are pulling off, and then the Cardinals are hanging around.
Arizona's 3-2, so they're not bad. And then going from one fun division to another, the Browns. Wow, they get a very impressive win against Indianapolis at home. They get to 4-1, their best start in I think over 20 years or something like that.
The last time the Bills were 4-1, Bill Belichick was the head coach and Nick Saban was the defense coordinator.
That's insane.
Yeah.
But yeah, they look solid. They are legit. They're not just.
Said they were going to win the AFC North.
You did. You said the AFC Championship, man. They could be going to the AFC Championship this year. Baker has an offense rolling. Myles Garrett's the defensive player of the year. He's just sack every game. AFC North as a whole is, of course, without Cincinnati. Cleveland, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, 3 legit teams. Wouldn't you say so?
I mean, it's kind of I don't want to say it's similar, but like kind of the NFC West. It's just that you got 3 teams hanging around, and it seems to be just in there. That's it. I mean, there's really nothing more to it. The next game is
it's Sorry, I'm laughing. You're
I should be moving. I don't know. I'm probably moving
you're
on my
frozen
end.
on my screen, and the face.
That's so weird.
I gotta take a picture of this. This is just too funny. We're taking a picture of that and saving that. So
you guys send that over to
difficulties, but we'll keep moving on.
Yeah, I'm gonna get the next one.
Yeah, next game for you for Dallas.
In all seriousness, I'm gonna stop laughing. Cowboys did lose. They didn't win. It's a hoax. It's a lie. They supposedly won, but they didn't. Huge injury to Dak Prescott. Not even. It's just sad. I feel bad for the guy more than I do for the player. I mean, I love Dak as a player, but he's even a great, guy in the community. Yesterday he wore a Break the Stigma mask for mental health awareness. He's been through so much. Obviously, early this year, his brother did pass away. His mother passed away a few years ago. So it's really, really tough to see. And I'm sure this doesn't help. Just now knowing that you're going to be at home where you can't really do anything. I did cry. I will say I did cry. I looked up ways if I could donate my right ankle because it was a it was pretty much a broken ankle. It was like fractured ankle and compound break. There have been guys who had this injury before. Gordon Hayward was one of them. The surgery, they had emergency surgery last night, and I think it's 4 to 6 months recovery time. So they say 2021 he'll be good to go. The Cowboys do sound like they're very interested in bringing him back. I hope they do. He's a great leader. It was really moving to see Jason Garrett and Mike McCarthy. Obviously, Jason Garrett was his head coach for 3 years now. So really tough to see. Really tough image.
I mean, like we've been said. I mean, I'm not the biggest Cowboys fan by any means, but it's just you never want anybody to get a serious injury like this. It's really sad to see. And I love him as a quarterback. I think he's a fun player to watch, and like you said, he's a really good person. He's really involved in the community, and he's brought a lot about mental health awareness, which is important too. And going away a little bit from the injury side of it, the Cowboys they gotta focus on football, unfortunately, but that's just what they gotta do. And they got Andy Dalton, as it's not the worst. It's not the worst backup quarterback to have,
I mean, the truth be told is at this point, having Big Red is probably the best backup in the league. Obviously, I'm sure there's other backups. I don't know who the hell the backups are out there.
Nick Foles.
Oh, no. Well, yeah, I guess Nick Foles.
He's a starter.
He is the best backup. But I think the Cowboys will – I think by having, a quarterback who doesn't move as much, having Zeke is going to obviously provide a lot of good stuff, having him run the ball. Focus on football. I mean, we're in a tight NFC. We're obviously in first by like half a game. So we got to focus on football and move on. And it's heartbreaking, but
yeah,
next game before I start crying.
Yeah, we don't want to get too emotional. But yeah, fun Sunday night game. It looked like Minnesota was going to pull off a shocker in Seattle. They shut them out at halftime. It was 13-0 at halftime, and then Seattle they blow the doors open in the second half.
Seattle had 0 points? No, not us.
Yeah, and then they scored 21 points in I think like 7 or 8 minutes in the third quarter. So it was a crazy ending. Minnesota was down at Seattle's 5. They go ahead and go for it on 4th and 1, don't get it, and then Russ he goes down the entire field. And how about that pass to DK Metcalf on 4th and 10? I mean, it was incredible. It
was crazy. I really do think Russell Wilson keeps establishing himself as the NFL MVP.
I mean, I love him as my fantasy quarterback. Let's just say that.
He's one of those guys that just throws yards.
I can't believe I have him, Chris Carson, Alvin Kamara, and DeAndre Hopkins on my team. It blows my mind.
Nuts.
Yeah. That team.
Yeah, that's nuts. And then we have this is gonna come out on Tuesday's episode, but the Monday night game. It's
You still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah.
Technical difficulties always. Chargers at Saints Monday Night Football. Chargers 1-3. I would say they're a really good 1-3 team. The Saints 2-2.
Yeah, you're
in New
frozen
Orleans.
on my. Yeah.
Technical difficulties, man. It happens. Don't use Zoom. Can you even hear me? Definitely can't hear me. Which is all right.
Don't use Zoom. This is.
Yeah,
I can
don't
hear
use
you.
Zoom,
You're
kids.
just frozen on my screen.
All right.
I can hear you.
So we got Chargers at Saints tonight. I don't remember who we picked. Do we have the Saints? Do you have the Saints? And I have the Saints. We definitely have.
We both have the Saints. We both have the Saints, and then for the Tuesday game, we both have the Bills.
Yes. So that being said, it's all right.
Well,
it's all right. It's not the end of the
Gotta adapt to this podcasting.
You gotta improvise. I'm up now 5
Yeah.
games as we are just finishing week 5. I'm up 5 games on our little bet that we got going on. We picked different about 3 or 4 games, so obviously there's plenty of time left. But thank you to the team. Thank you to the Dolphins, man.
Just to wrap up NFL, I have one question for you. Will we see an NFL game played on every single day of the week this season? So we're gonna get Tuesday. So we've had Thursday so far, Sunday, Monday, obviously. We're gonna get Tuesday. There's always a Saturday game scheduled. So the only days we need are a Wednesday. Actually, no, Friday. Christmas Day falls on a Friday. There's a Friday game between, I think, the Saints and somebody else. So Friday will be covered. I think it's like week 15. I think it's the Saints on Christmas Day.
There it is, Vikings at Saints. So we need one Wednesday game. So the Vikings at Saints play on Friday at 4:30. So we need a Wednesday game. We need one Wednesday game. And honestly, if you do it, you could do Wednesday and then Monday. We are just having so many technical difficulties. It is just a rip, man.
I don't know how that would work, though.
That doesn't matter. Do a Wednesday, Monday game.
Yeah,
do a team that plays on Wednesday and then Monday. It's doable.
Yeah, it's
going to be done.
That's definitely, I would have to.
All right.
Yeah, I'm just pulling up.
He's pulling up the schedule. He's going to tell me that the Bills are playing like some Wednesday. You know, I don't know no, because they can't do that. I don't know how it'd be done, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we still got a lot of time to go. Hold on, I'm just pulling up the rundown because my phone decided to. God, this episode's just off the rails today, isn't it?
Yeah, technology is not our strong suit, guys. So if there ever is an IT person.
Good thing I'll be home in a few weeks and we can actually maybe like record this not on Zoom and actually.
I was gonna say it's like 4 weeks. It's like 3.5, 4 weeks.
Just under 4 weeks now, yeah. So 3.5 weeks, yeah. So we'll.
And then our little top 5, little spooky season, Halloween season coming at you live, if you know what I mean. Give me your number 5 for top Halloween candy you would like to receive in your bag.
Yeah, so top 5 Halloween candy. My number 5, mine are all pretty basic, just personal preference. I've always liked Smarties, they're just super simple. What's with the
heart? It's a heart. Oh, wait, no, Smarties are the circles, right?
You're thinking of Sweet Tarts.
Oh, what's the difference? They're both sugar. It's the same thing.
They're like in those little packet things. It's like you eat them.
I know what you're talking. Yeah. You like it's you could do a variety of things with them.
Yeah, they're.
You can consume them a variety of ways. My number 5, if I'm right, I don't remember if it's the right thing or not. It's the Mounds, like the coconut and dark chocolate things. Is that Mounds?
I'm not
pretty sure it's Mounds. I gotta look it up, but I'm pretty sure it's Mounds. Give me your number 4 in the meantime.
Number 4, this could be an unpopular one, depending on if you have taste buds or not. Laffy Taffy. It's a little sticky. It's not the easiest thing to open, which that might be why I could get some backlash for this one. But those are terrible.
Wow, damn.
I don't like coconut candy, but that's
Hold
just
on.
me.
You said Laffy Taffy. What kind?
Probably
Because you don't want to get like the
strawberry or
grape
green
Laffy
apple.
Taffy.
No, strawberry, like green apple. Those are my two favorites.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
My number 4, Kit Kat bars, just a regular Kit Kat bar. Like, just don't give me the dark chocolate, don't give me the white chocolate. Just give me a simple Kit Kat bar, and I'll be happy.
Break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar. I had to go there. Number 3. I'm just gonna say my number 3 are all American chocolate. Number 3, we're gonna go with Reese's.
Peanut butter cups.
Peanut butter cups. You can't go wrong with them. They're super fun to eat.
What was that Reese's commercial that came out in like the 2000s? Like, you remember the rapper?
Dude, I feel like there's a new Reese's commercial every week. It seems like they just whatever.
I've never had the Reese's. I would die, but
Are you allergic to peanut butter? Oh yeah, you are.
If I'm allergic to nuts, I'm probably allergic to peanut butter.
I forgot you're allergic. I forgot you're allergic to nuts. So.
My number 3 is the Crunch bar. But if you're fancy enough, you get the Bunch of Crunch.
Yes.
I prefer the Bunch of Crunch. I don't mind the Crunch bar. It's just Bunch of Crunch are better. Solid.
I will say Bunch of Crunch is the number 1 movie candy. If you're going to go see a movie or just watch a movie, that's the number 1 movie candy. It's
I like Mike and Ike's though.
Remember, movie candy is different from Halloween candy, so
that's true.
That's
true. We're talking the small bars. We're talking.
Yeah, just something you want to have a little snack, But then my number 2, Snickers. I've always liked Snickers. Just perfect.
You madman? You need a Snickers.
Perfect chocolate, caramel, nuts. It's just delicioso. I love it. And another one you can't eat with nuts. So.
I know, I would die. My number 2 is Starburst. Only the pink flavor though, and I would take the yellow, but I prefer the pink. Do not give me red or orange. You are a monster if you do, and there's a special place in hell for you.
We're just gonna have to completely disagree on the flavors because pink is number 1. Yellow,
I said pink. Yellow is a consistent good.
I mean, it's not awful, but it's not my. Red and orange are probably 2 and 3.
Tough, man. Things you hate to see. That. Give me your number 1.
Number 1 was your number 4, Kit Kat. Probably my favorite candy of all time. It's so good. You can never go wrong with it. It tastes good no matter what. It's just for me. It feels comforting in a sense. It just feels it's that comfort candy. If I'm feeling sad, I'll eat some Kit Kat. I'm feeling happy, I'll eat a Kit Kat. You can eat it whenever you want.
And it might break like Alex Smith's leg. Just
okay, let's not.
Terrible joke coming in. My number 1 is a dark chocolate Hershey bar. Literally, do not give me milk chocolate. Do not give me white chocolate. Do not give me the cookies and cream shit. Give me a dark chocolate bar. The specialty dark, if you know what I mean. I'm a monster. I'm a monster. I like dark chocolate. I'm a dark chocolate guy.
I mean, I wouldn't be mad if that was in your top 5, but number 1? Are you crazy?
Dude. You want to know why? Because when I took this into account, you also have to take into account the variability or like the percentages of you getting it. You don't get a dark chocolate bar every often. It's something that you go every 7 houses and you might get.
Do you like super dark chocolate where it's like?
Well, we're talking like, I know what you mean. You're talking like 72% cocoa, and it's like.
Yeah, it just tastes like it doesn't taste like candy, but
Yeah, go to jail. Just shame.
Yeah.
That's it. But we have a good week of sports.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you want to throw in one candy that we would not want to get for Halloween? Like one that is just, you need to be thrown into federal penitentiary if you give this to a kid. I mean. Raisin Nets.
Oh, hold up. I don't mind Raisin Nets, though. I don't mind Raisin Nets. As a Halloween candy, all right, that's questionable. But I would have said, like, those regular, like, dummy lollipops. Like, just a basic, like, you're basic and just spend some money. It's a goddamn holiday.
I got gum once. I wasn't too thrilled about that.
Hey, but get the money. Get some money. Oh, I guess, you know what? My other top one, like, we were talking about 1A, 1B, mini M&Ms in the tubes.
Oh, those hit different. Those are different.
those
are
those hit
amazing.
different than regular like mini M&Ms. Like there's mini M&Ms in the box and then in the tube. You get the tube.
The tube ones, dude, you can drink the M&Ms. That's what I do. I drink the M&M tube.
Yeah. You just throw it back. And like that's how you
Yeah.
practice pills. Kids don't do it. It's probably
Yeah.
gonna go ahead and make you feel things.
Yeah, 'tis the season. You got Halloween coming up. That'll be canceled this year, so that's always on a lightning note. No Halloween, but that's just a little non-sports top 5 for this week. But that pretty much wraps up the episode for this week. You can always follow us on Twitter at T_A_G Sports. Going to be above Sam on the screen there. Rip to TikTok. We're not on there anymore. We're not creative enough for TikTok. We need to hire a TikTok person who's creative enough for us. We're just not. Our minds are better for Twitter and
like your sport management
and,
class requires you to do an internship. Just like we're the easiest people. To probably
we don't offer much.
Like once a month.
It'll be unpaid. You won't gain hardly any experience as we have.
We'll send you many M&Ms.
There you go. Yeah, we'll send you some mini M&Ms in the mail, but
we'll probably forget to text you.
We're trying to build our brand on Twitter. The biggest podcast apps, Apple Podcasts, of course. It'd be awesome if everybody who's listening to this could leave us a review on Apple and give us a 5-star review. We got to get those ratings up. Gotta get our brand growing a little bit here. So
gotta boost them, baby. Gotta boost them. Sure. Shout out to our new Twitter followers as well.
Yeah, we got some new Twitter followers over the weekend. So if you want to, if you don't want to watch us on YouTube, we're on YouTube, but you can check us out on any Spotify app or podcast app.
Yeah.
Spotify is one of those apps, but check us out on Spotify too. Whatever you want to do.
Yeah, whatever you feel like. And if you don't feel like listening, I think you still should.
Yeah, just two average guys giving their takes.
Yeah, two average guys, very biased takes.
Yeah.
All right. We have a great weekend sports for you guys. Baseball action, some NFL action. We're missing one day of the week. We are missing Wednesdays, college football on Thursday. Yeah. College basketball starts in a month.
Yeah, NBA's done for a while, so we'll have much basketball talk, but got a lot of stuff coming up, so excited for that.
All right, take care, man.
See you later.